Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. I'll promise I'll keep this brief. We've been taking in a huge amount of information today. I've really enjoyed it, and I found the study that CMI have just presented fascinating as well. It's given us all a very good idea of what's happening here. It's wonderful to be here in Toronto. I know that many of you are friends for quite a while, and it's wonderful to see some new faces as well. I guess some of you know me already. Throughout the year, I work in a whole range of areas, not just LGBTQ tourism, but also in general consumer trends in travel, helping people in the industry and helping consumers also to understand what's going on in the travel industry, and also helping, in particular, advise governments on their policy as well. But yeah, I love doing this kind of thing, especially industry education, and that's partly what I've tried to do with my work on LGBT travel and this guide in particular. So many of you then will remember me from last year. I go around waving this in the air, and this is the report which we've just been discussing now. This report was launched at the convention last year, and I guess I can't stress enough, it's what's been wonderful is for people who have come to me and said, look, this has been so useful in talking to the Minister of Tourism in my country, to talking to political decision makers in our country, helping them to understand that this is a thing, that this is absolutely worthwhile investing in. And partly the way I wrote this report was to help people understand then, from the beginners to those who are much more experienced in this sector, understand what's happening now and also, of course, where this could be going in the future. So it was published by the World Tourism Organization and obviously generously funded by the IGLTA Foundation. What's inside? Well, it gives a comprehensive analysis of what's happening in the sector right now, obviously some emerging and business and consumer trends as well that we're seeing. And of course, this is an interesting case. It talks about the economic and political case for why this is important. We often just talk about the bottom line. We often just talk about the how much money is this worth. But I really try to explain why this really is ultimately important to the economy of a destination. When people can give the most of themselves, when they can be who they are in the workplace and ultimately in their city. The city is a diverse place and it attracts the widest range of people possible, which in my view is what a destination really should be looking to do. And of course, it gives recommendations for emerging and advanced destinations too. I want to thank all of those people who've also worked at sharing this research. It was done for the IGLTA Foundation, and I know that many other people have been collaborating too in presenting this and helping people to do it. So just in the last year, it's been presented in many different spots around the world. You can find it, it's free of charge, and it's available from the IGLTA website. So, what's next? Well, I'm very pleased to say that as a result of that work, the European Travel Commission, which represents actually not just the members of the European Union, but 35 countries based in Europe and also neighboring countries, to help them understand what is the LGBT market and why it's worth investing in. Now, when we talk about Europe as a destination, those of us who knew anything about Europe know that we're talking about an extremely diverse region, extremely diverse. And obviously the quality of life for LGBT people is enormously diverse across all sorts of European countries. We have countries there which are leaders, and we have countries there which are trailing very far behind. So part of the aim of this is not just to generate some fascinating consumer insights, which we will be doing, but also to help educate then governments across Europe on on how they can change and how they can help ultimately boost their own economy and their own visitor profile. So yes, this is a collaboration project then between the European Travel Commission, which I just mentioned, and the IGLTA Foundation. And of course, I'd like to express my real gratitude to Hornet for the research support that we've been given through this project. And I'll explain a little bit more about that in a second, but it's been integral to this. So what will this report include? What will you find? Well, updated business and consumer trends, because these things don't stand still. You'll be able to find out what's been going on in LGBT tourism and what's been emerging in the last year. This is not just interesting for those who bring clients to Europe, but I think for people everywhere. Also, well, why LGBTQ tourism, and this comes as part of the education which I just mentioned, why it matters more than ever to European destinations. I think destinations, as we have heard so beautifully and clearly from Toronto, that destinations are becoming defined by their values, not just by their beautiful museums and their monuments, but by their values and what they represent. And this is a message which we want to put across very firmly to tourism boards in Europe. It will also, though, include, and I know we're always hungry for these, is consumer insights on the perceptions, the motivations and interests, in this case in Europe as a destination. Consumer insights, well, this is actually something that we've been working with Hornet on, and we actually, the research is online right now, and I'd like your support in helping us to share it. I'll explain a bit more about that in a second. But apart from that, I've already conducted over 20 interviews with specialists on each market, which not easy when you're looking for people who are specialists on the market, for example, in China outbound, or people who are at least willing to identify and speak about it. But a lot of work has gone in and a lot of support has come from IGLTA in sourcing people to talk about this and really getting some insights on their destinations and about the characteristics, the cultural characteristics, either some of the things that don't always appear in the research on online surveys that help us understand, well, the mentality, for example, of travelers coming from Japan or those coming from China and elsewhere. So I'd like to also thank those people, some of you who are here, who I've interviewed for your collaboration with this project. It also includes a competitor analysis. So who is competing with Europe? Well, that means a lot, but we know that there's some very stiff competition out there. And we'll also be looking at some case studies to help European destinations understand what has been working particularly well right now in reaching LGBT consumers. And then, well, the report, of course, will finish with some recommendations about targeting the LGBTQ market as well from a national level. So those consumer insights, well, we are studying these 5 major source markets and several others as well, but these are our markets of real interest. Some of these perhaps we're more familiar with, others I think there's a real lack of information out there, and I think it will be really interesting to see what comes back. And I'm very pleased to say that our target, and that we're very confident with reaching, is more than 10,000 responses on this. So I look forward to sharing that with you when we have it, as well as, of course, the insights which have come from those interviews. And again, I'd like to thank our friends from Hornet for their help with that. But there's still work to do here. So I would like to ask you that if you work with any of these following outbound markets, the research is actually still online. It's accessible through Hornet's own blog, and I'd be very happy to also share with you and give you more information about that. I'll be here for the next few days, but you're very welcome to help us share that. We really appreciate it, and the more people we hear from, the clearer of a picture we have about what's happening globally. Why are we doing this then? What's it for? Well, ultimately it's for your benefit, because we really want to create new market insights on the outbound markets of LGBT travelers. These are major, powerful markets if we consider the market potential of not just China, but also countries like Brazil as well. We want to help, as I said, more European countries to understand the dynamics of the LGBTQ market, understand perhaps helping remove some of those stereotypes and helping really bring people up to date and refresh their knowledge on the LGBT travelers. Ultimately, though, of course, our aim, and I definitely share the words of Joanne from Tourism Toronto there, it's very easy, I think, to feel a bit despondent when we look at the news these days. I know we've heard that from Americans. I say that as a Brit. But fortunately, we also see that much progress is being made around the world. And I do hope that this report will be another step in that direction, at least for European destinations. And of course, in this case, make the case for investing in the LGBT market, which of course has its benefits for you guys. And ultimately, of course, to give insights that will help you build your business. So I have an invitation. If you're free on the 21st of June, check your diary. If you want to come and try some of those extremely strong Belgian beers that you saw in the video at the beginning, I can tell you they give you a hangover before you've even finished drinking the glass. If you want your waistline, they do amazing fries in Belgium, as you know. The chocolate's fantastic. So you might want to check in some excess baggage going home. But you're most welcome. We'll be at just around the corner from the Grand Place in Brussels. at the Hilton, and we'll be presenting an education day for European destinations and those from the LGBTQ market and those who from beyond in the travel industry as well. So if you would like to attend, or perhaps you want to send a colleague or a friend who's perhaps more able to get there, just let us know. Let me know, or the IGLTA staff, and we can arrange the registration. The registration actually will be going online very shortly, but just let me know and I'll be able to help arrange that. And that's where, of course, we'll be presenting these insights from the what's going to be called the Handbook on LGBTQ Tourism in Europe. Hopefully another step in the right direction. Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing more of you during this week.